If I told you that I'd sold Alberto Rodriguez, which, spoilers, I've sold Alberto Rodriguez, what do you think is an acceptable sum of money for this man here? He'd been on the fringes of the first team this year, but £3 million was offered. I just couldn't say no, could I? I love the bloke, but Mexico came calling. He wasn't that happy with his lack of first team football, and I feel like to get £3 million for him is just fantastic business. I mean, look, the January transfer window isn't open yet. There is definitely going to be the opportunity to spend some money if we want to. And I say if we want to, because our current first team size is still 27 players, which is definitely on the larger side, although I will say, given the last month I've had, that is probably a blessing. Look at the number of players injured, players coming back from injuries needing fitness tests, players on international duty as well. It really has been a rough ride lately. Welcome back to Park to Prem, everyone. I hope you're doing absolutely amazing. Can I just say a big old thank you for the support on the series. Spoilers alert, we're up in 8th in the championship. If we get some half-decent results today, we could move closer to the playoff picture. Now, Rodriguez has been sold. I immediately took it upon myself to get a new replacement attacking player sorted. Does this man look familiar? Yeah, Harvey Fail, who we really ummed and ahed about blowing the budget on, didn't we, over the summer, has agreed to join us. No release clause in sight. £5,500 for this man. I think it's a good deal. We're training him to play out on the left-hand side. I have to say, there's definitely some question marks over his potential. But you know what? The former Man City man scored a couple of goals in the Premier League, proved himself a little bit at championship level for West Brom. I'm going to hope that with us, despite missing 6 months of football as a free agent, he is going to hit the ground running. He's making his debut today. Now, before we do talk about the results since you last here, I do want to draw your attention to this. The injuries for this season. We have the most active injuries in the championship. We have had 32 injuries this year. The blue graph is our injuries for the season. You can see there has been a big old spike in November, and it has been tricky. In terms of current injuries, we've got Ivicic out, Alokhlin out, Home out. Those are 3 centre-backs. I thought 6 centre-backs would be enough for our squad. We've almost run out. And of course, Jean-Philippe, I'm still pouring one out for him. Did his ACL in, didn't he, last episode? Yeah, obviously, he's not back, and he's probably not going to be back for months still. I mean, you can see here as well that Aguiar and Sassi also only partially passing fitness tests at this point. Aguiar has missed the last 7 weeks. That definitely has put a little bit of a stress on the first team. What I will say is Josh Landers has kind of stepped up as of late. 5 goals in the championship, I suppose, isn't superb. It's probably as much as I'd hope for a player of this quality. And BJS with 7 goals and 6 assists so far, looking like the standout attacking player in our team. The 20-year-old bags of potential, of course, just as a reminder, signed for less than £200,000. And without him, I think we would be royally screwed. Now, of course, last episode we took on Wrexham and Millwall, and having beaten Millwall, we went on a nice little run of clean sheets. 1-0 against Stockport County was great, of course, they were promoted with us, and another clean sheet, another convincing win, 3-0 against Derby County. Unfortunately, though, the next month or so has been a little trickier for us. Against Southampton, we lost 3-0 on the road. It was not a good performance by any means. And from there, we did draw 2-2 against Brentford. A late goal for Cardozo in this game did get us a share of the spoils. I have to say as well, Cardozo is kind of exciting me. He has turned 20 recently. He's developing a lot. Obviously, that really high potential, my staff think he has a Premier League potential, I'm hoping it is going to come into fruition. He is rated as our best centre mid. We are training him to play defensive mid. He's picking it up very slowly. As for his goal in this game against Brentford, I will let you be the judge on if it was good or bad. Kosahasi on this near side did a lovely little run, pulled it back to the centre mid, who arrived late, tucked it into the bottom corner. A massive point against Brentford. It's something I've not really acknowledged. There are a few teams in the Championship in our save game that you'd normally associate with being in the Premier League. Southampton, Brentford, Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, Ipswich Town and Burnley have also been in the Premier League in recent years. And we had the ball in a little run of games through November that was not exactly fruitful. We lost 5-3 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's not surprising. Against Sheffield Wednesday, who of course have the second lowest wage budget ahead of us in the league, we drew 0-0. A real lack of quality in this game. To be fair, in this match, though, there was a real lack of fit players. I suppose the fact that Aaron Best ended up being promoted from the under-21s to appear in this game, kind of an indicator. We were running rather thin on players at this point. After that, we managed to win 2-1 against Ipswich Town. That was the only win in the entire month, as following on from that, a draw against Burnley, and then a 1-0 defeat against Oxford United, a penalty the decider in this one. Oxford at the moment in this save game having an absolutely sensational season. They are up in second, so to lose to them wasn't disastrous. We played them in our most recent game and it was a slightly different state of affairs. And you know what? By and large, December has been a better month. 2-0 against Sheffield United, 1-1 against Watford, 0-0 against Swansea, and we remained unbeaten as we kept a second clean sheet against Oxford. 4-0 in this game. And if I might say so myself, there were some very, very fun goals in this game. Garcia at right back would turn provider here. To the back post he went, and he picked out an unlikely hero. Denner, the left back, just appeared in the middle. And later on in the second half, Denner would turn provider. The number 3 pulled it back. Son Jin-hyun back in the first team. He has also been injured. Really nice to see him on the score sheet. He has been missing a little bit more football than you'd like to see, really. He was out with a thigh strain for 9 days. Prior to that, he sprained his ankle ligaments as well. So a couple of these injuries really adding up. And it has meant he's not really played as much first-team football as I would like. I've really been managing his minutes, but recently he's complained about a lack of first-team football because I was rotating because of injuries. As a result of that, we are starting to play him more. You might remember I've kind of been training him to play on the right, then I moved him to be training on the left. Spoilers, I am now training him to play at right inside forward again. Partially because Jean-Philippe is injured and he was going to be one of those depth players on the right-hand side. But also, because I already mentioned, Harvey Vale has a little bit of familiarity out on the left-hand side, so with his recent arrival, I feel like it makes sense to tool him to be that player to play out on that left flank. And yeah, that win against Oxford is our most recent result. If we do look at the league table, we're in 8th, obviously. We've drawn a lot of games, really. 11 wins in 24. Doesn't sound all that impressive, but we've been a tough team to break down. Our goal difference isn't in the negatives. I'm going to view that as a positive. And if we do win a couple of games today, we could maybe climb back into the playoff picture. It is interesting. At the top of the table, Wrexham and Millwall, 2 teams we took on last episode, are currently in 1st and 3rd. And this year, there's not really been a runaway team in the Championship. In fact, one of the teams recently relegated in Norwich City, they are down in the relegation zone. And that is despite the fact that they have inarguably the best player in the league in Ivan Benito. This man is asking to leave. At this rate, he might want to sign for me. All I'm saying is if I was him, I'd be forcing a move in January, just like Josh Sargent. Sorry, that is a bit too soon, Norwich fans. Anyway, it is a little bit of a festive treat today. Our first game up is against Luton Town. They are up in the playoff spots right now. After that, we're doing Coventry. Coventry beat me by 4 goals last time we played them, and yet they're bottom of the league. So I feel like that's a game that we should win, and I like winning. And I do also just feel like, in terms of bookmarking the end of the calendar year, a game against the team at the top and a game against the team who are bottom is a good way to kind of see where we're falling into the status quo. Anyway, up first, we've got a game against 5th place Luton Town. It means we are doing an away day to Power Court. I feel like that is a sponsor name. I feel like it didn't used to be called Power Court, although maybe they've moved into a new stadium in this universe, haven't they? I'm very silly. Well, you know what? Off the back of their promotion to the Premier League, Luton overhauled their stadium. I don't think we've done an away day since then. Obviously, the club not in such a promising position right now in real life. But maybe the away day can cheer me and Luton fans up. So for today's away day, we are heading to Luton. I feel like not a lot happens in Luton. Kenilworth Road, though, definitely happening in Luton. Here is the stadium from the aerial view. It's mental to think that this was a stadium in the Premier League. You've got the road behind. Is it a road or is it a train line? It might actually be both. It says a busway. What is a busway? What is a busway? Is it just a bus road? Just call it a road. A busway. Sorry, I'm just investigating. A busway? Is it closed? Do buses drive on this? I'm so confused. Also, Cristiano Ronaldo's out for a stroll here. That is interesting. And his mate is jumping over a wall. Wait, have they snuck into the football stadium? Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone we saw all that. Luton Town, by the way. Welcome to Luton Town. For some reason, the grainy street view footage really gives off a 90s vibe, which maybe suits this ground. I'm still confused about Luton Busway. Frequent buses. Someone's going to have to explain this to me. Guided buses only. Like, maybe I'm an idiot. I've never heard of guided buses. Also, car trap. This is probably a completely normal thing if you're from Luton. I'm perplexed. Anyway, we are here for the away day. In terms of parking at this ground, I think you're going to struggle. It is a proper community stadium right in the heart of the town. I mean, to be fair, there is this parking across the bridge from the stadium, which I assume is used on match days, although maybe this is just storage. Now, it might just be me. I think Google have done a massive purge of photospheres in football stadiums, and I have no idea why. And people have noticed this in the comment. If anyone knows how I can get the photospheres in the grounds back, please let me know. Because it's really ruining the away day vibes. I feels like instead of this exciting little adventure, it's almost like I feel like a bit of a creep, you know, just loitering outside the football stadium. Here, by the way, is Luton Town Football Club's main stand. Imagine this being the entrance to the main stand of a Premier League club. Mental. This is the stadium here, right? This is people's backyards. We are looking into people's back gardens here. Like, this is meant... If you're not from the UK and you're like an American viewer watching with all your big American stadiums, this must just seem bonkers. If you're wondering, Jack, how do you get into that other stand? Well, you go through these doors here. You literally go through these doors here, and that gets you into the stadium. Imagine living above the football stand entrance. History is made in Luton. Was the first Domino's opened in Luton? Is that some weird fact that we're learning today? Like, it is wild, right, that there are houses. This is just a residential road, and then here is the football stadium, and here is one of the entrances. Like, it's such a cool stadium. I think there are long-term plans to move away from Kenilworth Road, which is why the team have moved away in real life. It is a real shame that a stadium like this might not be played in forever. At the same time, you can kind of understand why. I mean, this is the most normal-looking side of the stadium, isn't it? And even then, it looks like you've got kind of these temporary stairs up to the top. Like, oh, it has a vibe, Kenilworth Road. I do love it. I feel like it's a vibey away day, if not a great away day. I am gutted that there aren't any more kind of photospheres in stadiums. Like, if I drop the dot in there, it just takes you outside. And I feel sad. I do sometimes get people ask, Jack, can you not just show photos of the inside of a stadium? It's not really the same exploring around, but also copyright on photos, especially from professional photographers inside football stadiums, is much higher risk for me to show in a video and potentially get it demonetized or have to edit out that segment of the video. It's just not really worth the risk. It might not be saying much. Kenilworth Road is the highlight of Luton, isn't it? Apologies to the people of Luton. I flew from your airport once and I was meant to be flying from Gatwick and the flight got moved last minute. And since then, I've just held a grudge. But I'm not going to hold a grudge to the away day. Kenilworth Road, for the vibes alone, I'm giving 6 out of 10. Anyway, in terms of the team going into today's game, Vale is making his debut. The man who I ummed and ahed about signing all summer, and now we've pulled the trigger on with Rodriguez's departure, is going to start. Yeah, not a lot of match fitness with him, which is probably a good thing that Aguiar has been given the green light to play 45 minutes if I want to, the striker. He's been out for a long old time. We'll potentially look to bring him in. I am actually wondering if I should start Son Jin-hyun in this game. Oh, I could, but then I'd have to drop Vale. Unless I play Vale on the left. Kosahasi, I'm going to be honest, he's had a stinker this year. If there's a weak link in the front three, it's this man at the moment. This might be a gamble. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to bring in Son Jin-hyun. I'm going to play him out on the right-hand side where we're training him to play. And then through the middle, I am going to play BJS. He has been the star boy this year. A great finisher out on the wing. Going to be interesting to see how he fares playing through the middle. Also interesting for Vale, because obviously forcing him out onto the wing, he's never played here before, but that has been a theme of this season. Probably should also acknowledge, at the back, we've got Haddad, Suljic, and Teo. Yeah, there are so many injuries at centre-back. Somehow Teo is in the starting 11. And I really need to hope that we don't have any injuries with injuries or otherwise, because, well, in terms of centre-backs, Alochlin is an option, although he failed a fitness test. If there was an injury at centre-back, there is a real possibility that Aguiar has to play there. And I don't want that to be a thing. If you're playing the Football Manager drinking game at home, good news, it's raining, so you can take a shot. Why does every game in England rain? A win here, and I think we might just be able to go ahead of Luton. Maybe not on goal difference. I'm not sure what the goal difference is, but we can definitely move it into playoff contention, and at the very least close the gap. But obviously, away from home, I'm not expecting this to be an easy one today. They are playing a 4-2-4 in possession. Out of possession, it's a much more defensive shape, which I actually think suits our back three quite nicely. Saying all of that, when they are on the attack, we need to show Luton some respect. They've got Segovia here, who scored a banger against us when we played them earlier on this season. Johnson Dinks it back post. Teo heads it away. Cardozo, now can we make a counter-attack happen? Son Jin-hyun plays a ball forward to BJS. That is a stupendous finish and a stupendous pass. Is he onside? Is he onside? I think he is onside. This goal's going to count. I couldn't see the linesman on the far side, so I was panicking. That is, I'll tell you what, Tom Brady would be proud of that pass. Waited to perfection, and then BJS, a little bit of composure to tuck it away. Halfway through this first half, not been a classic. I don't recall conceding a direct free kick since we took on Wrexham last episode. I really don't want to concede 2 in 2 episodes in a row. I mean, on that occasion, the shot has gone over. When you look at the stats of this game, Luton have been blunted. As the home team, we have shut them down quite nicely. We're looking good in this game, not having a load of the ball. At the same time, though, not a great deal of clear-cut chances. But once you're ahead in a game like this, maybe that's not a problem. You know, we want Luton to get frustrated, get desperate, throw men forward. Then we can look to maybe hit them on the break. O'Brien gives it to Richards, back to Leish. Played through the middle to Jones. He's going to dink it wide to Chapman. Watson now with the ball. Al-Hamadi. This is really nice build-up play. Skills. Shoots. Good save by Hardy. If you were wondering, by the way, have I given Barrett any more chances after that Wrexham game? Absolutely not. Hardy is our man. Cardozo is the man, though, in the midfield. He's got a 10.0 training rating. It's not transpired into great performances on the pitch, but maybe today's the day for that as Teo runs by his man and nearly scored a worldie. Teo, of course, has been with us since we were in the National League, so the fact he's now playing for us in the Championship, I think is both amazing and maybe a little bit concerning. Right, more of the same in the second half. I gave a team talk. I want to do a shout. I want to just shout some praise at the lads. You guys are doing great in this game so far. Luton have grown into this game a little bit, but that is to be expected. Denner on the left-hand side not having a great game. To be fair, Vale not having the best of games either, but of course he is coming back from, well, an extended stint without a club, so I'm not going to blame him for that. I am going to bring in Kosahasi. I feel like I've got to keep Son Jin-hyun and also BJS on the pitch for now. I didn't really mention it, but due to international call-ups, Alvarez is back in the team at centre mid today, but he is looking a little worse for wear, so I think we're going to bring in O'Connor. And I'm looking at Denner and Garcia thinking you guys look both tired and maybe a little worse for wear. Let's bring in Sassy, who's coming back from injury. Let's bring in Amet as well. Just trying to inject some fresh legs, especially in that wing-back area. We are quite demanding of our wing-backs in terms of getting up and down the pitch, and fresh legs there I don't think is ever a bad idea. I will say, second half, we've not done nearly enough going forward. At the same time, I guess there is a little less pressure on us to have to do that. Luton have definitely adjusted their game. And, well, they are going for it a little bit more, creating a little bit more. I guess it's on us now to be the sponges, to absorb up all this pressure they're exerting. Maybe hit them on the break yet again. Segovia bringing it forward. The blonde-haired beast could shoot, doesn't shoot, passes it. Jones blazes that over where really he should be hitting the target. Okay, I am going to make a change here. I'm going to move BJS into the wider area and I'm going to bring in Aguiar up top. I was told he could play 45 minutes. We're going to give him the last 15. I need him to build up some match sharpness. When he's fit, he is our main striker. 5 minutes remaining here. Luton have just had a free kick or a corner that we weren't shown the beginning of, but we've dealt with that initial bit of pressure. But they've got so many players forward now. Maybe we need to be wary. This is kind of nice passing play by them as well. They're moving the ball around like they're prime Barcelona. What is this? We can't touch the ball. It's almost an insane goal, but we've got it away from danger. I love the fact, right, they've just had that lovely passing move there. You kind of saw it all play out. They're playing this really pretty football, and then for us, we just lump the ball forward for our goal. We just kick it forward to our pacey strikers. I'm going to tell the rest of the team at this point, let's just play sensible. Let's play a nice, deep defensive line here. We don't need wide centre-backs anymore. No nonsense, even when we have possession. Let's just see this out. The change hasn't gone through yet. Luton are on the attack. I don't like this. Teray plays it forward. Jones, O'Brien, Luton, don't do it to me. Don't hurt me. Edge of the box shot. Goes over. Everything is fine. 3 minutes of added time. This would be a great win to get on the road and a massive clean sheet. Can we hold on? We've weathered a storm. Luton way better than us for, well, at least the second half of this game. Really, we had a spell of dominance early on, got that goal, and from there, we've just held firm defensively. Hardy in goal with an 8.3 rating. I feel like that maybe surmises how that game went. You know what? Not the most convincing of performances. Apparently we were lucky. I don't believe that. It was all part of the game plan. Does also make it 5 games unbeaten, which is really, really nice. I mentioned the fact that we've had some players training well. Look at these ratings. Maria Garcia Look at the boy, look at the green arrows. Is there a better sight in Football Manager? If there is, I'm not familiar with it. Unfortunately, even with that win, we do remain in 8th place, but it is a 4-way tie between ourselves, Hull City, Swansea and Luton. Swansea do have a game in hand, but just ignore that. As for our next opposition, we've taken on Coventry at home. When we took them on earlier this year, we lost 4-1. This is one of 3 wins they've had all season. If we don't win this next game, panic. That's what I'm going to say. That is the kind of game that if we don't win, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Speaking of which, that game is on Monday. It's Friday today. I'm going to tell the players to rest up, and I will be back in just a mo. Okay, folks, we are back. There is something that I forgot to mention earlier that we really should touch upon. You may have noticed on the squad screen here, a glaring lack of players with the ESC icon next to their name. Players like Haddad, for example. There is a reason for that. Obviously, he had an ESC work permit for his previous contract, but we tabled him a new contract offer on the 7th of December. You can see here, he signed it. They removed his release clause, and when we renewed his contract, it then kicked off a new work permit application. Because he's already here, I think, he was just granted a work permit, which is absolutely amazing. It means he's now committed here for the next 5 years, which for the 21-year-old is great. He was one of a couple of players that did apply to. I'm trying to remember the other players now. Zongo was another man actually it applied to. He is currently on international duty. I assume it's AFCON with Burkina Faso. I'm not 100% sure. But if we do look here, you can see again, signed a new contract at the start of December, managed to remove the small release clause. Admittedly, in his case, there is still a release clause of £28 million. If someone pays a release clause of £28 million for Zongo, kind of fair enough, isn't it? In fact, if we go here to custom views and copy of contract, you can see here the view I was kind of working through where there's a few more players whose release clauses I'm maybe a bit worried about. Lowry Home, I could maybe renew the contract of, but he was still asking to have a release clause included around a similar value to the one he already has. So I'm holding off for now. If I'm being honest, of all the players we've signed this year, this boy might be the disappointment. I'm saying that. He has got 4 goals for us, but unfortunately, he is injured with a badly fractured rib, which sounds very painful. I'm going to hope it has no long-term effects on his jumping ability. Oh, and just in some other news, you may have noticed here that I've signed various new people. These are all just new staff members that we've signed up. We've got some new sports scientists, some new coaches as well, if I'm not mistaken. We've just been slowly but surely filling out the staff across the board. I'm hoping sooner rather than later I can ask for some more scouts. And in terms of the coaching team, it really has improved this year. I guess you can kind of get a general overview from the star ratings here. I must admit, one of the screens I missed the most from FM24 is the bar charts where you could see your staff against the rest of the league. I feel like that was always a really good visualizer, but you can kind of tell just by looking at the star ratings here. In general, for a newly promoted championship team now, our coaching team is in a very, very, very good spot. There's one man who you might be wondering about his release clause because he did just pop up on that previous screen. Suljic still doesn't want to sign a new deal, which is really, really painful. At the moment, there's no interest being shown in him. It is worth noting his release clause only applies to teams in a higher division in England. Oh, I would love to keep him. I feel like this is going to end in heartbreak. Anyway, I'm going to hope that we can inflict some more heartbreak here as we take on Coventry City. We didn't get a great deal of rest between games here, so I am wondering if I am going to need to rotate things slightly. I think we'll give BJS a rest in this game. Granted, you know, Coventry beat us before, but they are a team towards the bottom. I don't want to come across as kind of underestimating them, but I feel like this is an opportunity maybe just to rotate things a little bit. I'm going to drop Denner for this game in favour of Sassy. I really want to try and continue to give the 20-year-old some game time to help fulfil his potential. And I had already made a decision, but Cardozo, who has been arguably our standout player of the season from a development point of view, is going to get a rest here. He has started 21 games this season. He's complaining about a lack of fitness, so we've got to make a change there. Also, does anyone else forget to move players across if they're on the in-possession view? Like, forget to do it on the other one? Nearly forgot to do it. I did spot it. Vale is starting through the middle. Kosahase on the left. Oh, and if you were wondering, we are still absolutely ravaged by injuries and suspensions. If Usic actually could make the bench today, given the fact that O'Loughlin is still carrying a knock, we'll give him the opportunity to maybe come on. He has started a couple of games for us, Ivicic. I would love to play him that little bit more, but obviously he got an injury at a really unfortunate time where there was an opening at centre-back. I will say, just as we head into this game, episodes of this series have been getting a little on the longer side. I feel like I need to try and make a conscious effort to make them a little bit more concise. At the same time, I kind of want to make sure you know all the goings on at the club and all the details. I'd love to have your feedback on the episode length. Is there certain stuff that we cover in videos that you think is unnecessary? Are we just in a nice sweet spot? I'll be honest, kind of from a YouTuber point of view, when I put the YouTube hat on, I can see the analytics. The series is really popular with those of you guys who are watching it, which I'm so appreciative of. I know that this game is not everyone's cup of tea, but I am really enjoying this save game. There is nothing better in any football manager than when you get into a save game, and it seems like a lot of you guys are getting into this save game too, which is really fun. Let's hope we can win today against Coventry. Also, this stadium, I was talking smack about Kenilworth Road. We're playing at the Dripping Pan. Now, our stadium is mental compared to theirs in terms of the level down it is. Right, Coventry are playing a 4-4-2 that switches to a 4-3-3 when they don't have the ball. Now, they're bottom of the league, so in my mind, this should be straightforward at home. Then again, last time we played them, they absolutely spanked us 4-1, so maybe nothing is guaranteed whatsoever. Also, they're on the attack here. I don't like this. Alisada down the line to Spencer, who keeps it in just about. Can he get the ball into the middle? We've got so many players in the box to try and deal with anything coming our way. The ball at the edge of the area is struck. That was not far wide. Half an hour played here. Garcia bringing the ball forward on the near side. The right back has been one of the most exciting players this year, as has Song Jin Hyun, to be fair. Vale has a knock. Is that a reason for concern? Also, is that Muenta, the Thai forward? I'll tell you what, it's a shame that Hatu's not on the bench. We could have had a Thai striker affair on the pitch. But yeah, Hatu's not on the bench. This guy used to be an absolute baller in FM. To be fair, he is still actually quite good. I need to be wary. As I think I need to be wary of the fact that Vale has got injured here. His condition is not looking good. Aguiar didn't really get much of a chance in that last game to have his stamp on the game. He is going to come on in this game here with, 60 minutes of football to be played. Hopefully he lasts it, because he is, as I already mentioned earlier, coming back from an injury of his own. Not been a classic so far, but 4 minutes left of this half. They're on the attack. Ball played to Schmidt, played to Smith at the edge of the area. Inside, they are working it through here. O'Connor wins the ball nicely, but panics, clears it away. But straight to Coventry's defence, who are going to look to launch another assault from deep. Kouame dinks it in. Vermont heads it. That is ridiculous power to generate off a header from there. You'd feel like with a back five and the aerial ability we have in our defence, we'd be okay here. The ball's played through. The header there is sensational. I kind of want to be cross with Hardy, but the header was that good, I'm not sure I can be. I was just thinking about what tactical changes I'd make at half-time. I think I have got to change something here. Coventry apparently are our kryptonite. Before that can happen, though, they could still get another goal here. There's 10 seconds left of the half. I am praying this is just one of those pointless highlights where Football Manager wants to get my heart rate up for nothing, because we've got to change things up here. This has not been good enough. They're having way too much the ball. I mean, we've literally not had any momentum at any point. Granted, momentum is largely based on possession, so don't read into that too much. But we've not had a shot on target. Right, team instructions here. We are going to slow down the play. We're going to have, I think, a standard tempo, but we're going to a shorter passing. I want the players to work the ball into the box a little bit more. I want to be more dominant when we do have the ball. Let's get rid of passing to space and just look to pass it into feet instead. I want us to make the pitch, I think, as wide as possible. I am really tempted to go to the striker system again, like we did last time out, where in possession, we do play with these two players through the middle. It's a change that we've made infrequently during the season. You saw it last episode against Millwall, where it did change things around for us. My only concern with a shape like this basically is that if we're not playing direct, there's a big gap between the rest of our team and the attack. This might be a bit of a gamble. I'm going to bring in Ivusic, and I'm actually going to play him at centre mid as a... Well, I guess we'll play him at centre mid in possession, but out of possession, I'm going to have him slot in at centre-back, I think. Am I cooking too much there? Maybe that's too much of a gap. I could play him at defensive mid. It's a position we've been training him in. I feel like in possession, we can afford to play a two at the back. Then out of possession, he can just drop in the middle. I think that's fine. It's a little bit counterintuitive because we are going to now have our attackers higher up the pitch, but we are playing with a shorter passing style of play. But with Ivusic hopefully linking the play a little bit more in the middle and us looking to just build out from the back and hold on to possession, I'm hoping the game can shift in our favour a little bit. We've tried this direct style of play. It's not worked. It's a bit tricky because we do like to play kind of fairly direct, but in reality, our attackers are not the best in the air and from a physicality point of view. So looking to maybe overwhelm in the middle, have a bit more of the possession is the plan as Garcia brings it forward early doors. That was nearly a goal from the right back. At the end of the first half, I think we had 27% of possession, so I'm going to hope that in the second half it can shift more in our favour. Schmidt, though, over a corner. This is a little bit concerning. We've got Haddad, who's a meaty man in the air. We head it away, not all the way, and Sufanat has made me suffer that fate. It's 2 goals down, and I want to cry. I can't even look. The ball just falls to me, shoots. Son Jin-hyun, in closing it down, I think left Hardy blindsided. And, I mean, what do you do now? 2 goals down against the team that have won 3 games all year. I'm going to shift the mentality to attacking. In terms of team instructions, let's up the tempo and just go to standard for the passing. I do feel like looking for overloads in the flank area is the way we're going to see success here. Going to encourage us to use the flanks more and just see what we can do. Garcia's on a 6.0. I really should be making more subs. Right, Ahmet is coming on at right back. I'm looking at the attack here. Apprehensive, anxious. It's not the body language you want to see from your players, is it? But the issue I've got is I've got so many injuries that have stacked up. I'm kind of limited in what we can do here. I'm going to take off Son Jin-hyun. I'm going to bring in BJS and hope that he can be an inspiration. Now, the bizarre thing is, because of where Coventry are in the league, where they are bottom and not particularly good, part of me feels like if we get 1 goal back, their confidence is going to be so low, maybe we can cause them to panic. Maybe Sassy can inspire something here, because they are not closing him down. He's gone all on his lonesome. The keeper's denied him a goal of the season contender. BJS is on the pitch. BJS is over the corner. He whips it in. Haddad, 18 jumping reach, can't get over the ball and keep it down. I mean, 20 minutes left here. Coventry have had a lot of shots, but their actual XG really isn't that impressive. Look, there's 15 minutes left in this game. We don't need to panic just yet. Coventry, they're bottlers. They're not good. We could still score 2 here. I need to believe. I'm saying all of that. They're on the attack here. And obviously we are playing a little bit more offensive of our own. That nearly ended up in the top corner. And at that point, I might have just rage quit the game. Just to be clear, when I say rage quit, I don't mean literally close Football Manager. I think I might have instant resulted. But you know what? They've skied that opportunity. If we go up the other end now and score 2, the player who missed that for Cov is going to have that miss playing over and over in his head for the rest of the season. Ivusic, Kosahasi, can he keep it in? He can. I was going to say he can with his pace. No, he's just run straight into the advertising board. 10 minutes left. Encourage the players. I need to see something here, lads. Give me a reason to believe. 4 minutes left. I still feel like if we get 1, we could get 2. I don't know why. I'm kidding myself. We've played 86 minutes here. We've not scored 1. Why on earth would I think that we're going to bag a brace here? Ahmet, though, he's bringing it forward. The right wing back. 3 players in the middle. 3 strikers. He plays it in. Kosahasi takes it down this time. Cuts inside. Gives it to Sassy, who scores. It's not over yet. I'll be real with you. I'm not sure why Sassy, our left back, is there. I guess it's the advanced wing back role, isn't it? It is super, super attacking in a situation like this. He tucks it away. We need 1 more. I'm going very attacking. I've got 1 sub left. Cardozo is the best creative player in my team. I'm bringing him in to play at centre mid. I'm going to tell our 2 centre defensive mids out of possession to press forward. I'm going to move Ahmet and Sassy forward as well. We have to win the ball back here. We need something. I think at this point, there's no point in playing a 3 at the back either. Ivusic, you might as well start further up the pitch, and then in possession, there's not so much of a transition needed. The game just ends. All those changes were for nothing, and I'm sad. I'm not happy. We should have won that game. Coventry have won 4 games all season. 2 of them are to us. Harvey Vale's only out for 1 to 3 days. That is a little bit of a relief. But I'm afraid to say it's results like that one there that kind of convince me that we are just going to fall short of the playoffs this year. Admittedly, you know, there's 20 games left of the season. We're only 5 points off top, but yeah, it's our inability to kill off teams that we really should be killing off that's our issue. I do also feel like when you're a newly promoted team with a really low reputation, teams tend to underestimate you, maybe rotate more against you, play more attacking and leave themselves open. And because we're now halfway through the season, teams are starting to get a read on actually, Lewis FC really aren't that bad. And as a result of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we struggle more in the second half of the season. But you know what? Given the fact our pre-season billing was 21st, 8th place really isn't that bad if this is where we start to settle. Anyway, we have got a load of transfer budget and a little bit of wage budget to spend. I'm sure I can do some rejigging there if I need to. Don't be surprised if there's some surprises sprung in January. When we come back next time, transfers to talk about, I'm sure. And in terms of matches, well, you'll just have to wait and see. We have got an FA Cup game against Birmingham. Not nearly excited enough for me. So we might be back with FA Cup action, assuming we don't bottle it. Really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Have a lovely rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you next time for more. And until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.